Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, checking in this morning for another segment of 5 Minutes of Fire. Before I get started, I just want to remind everybody that it's finally here, book number 20, Critical Mass, The Phenomenon of Next Level Living. This book is pretty much a peek inside of my mind, how I function, how I think, how I've been able to do so much of what I've been able to do, as well as how I work with my clients to get them to achieve results beyond what they were able to do before we began to work together. I'm excited about the book because, again, I wrote it with a modular construction, meaning that it's designed to be read in a non-linear way. So you can either read it from chapter 1 through chapter 23, and then there's a bonus section for Christian believers, those who claim the Christian faith. It irons out a lot of what I talk about in a way that's easier to understand, relate to, and put into action. Everything is about action. Everything is about moving from what you believe into how you're going to believe how you're going to bring what you believe into reality. And so I do that. But if you're going to read chapters 1 through 23, from 1 through 23, great. If not, if you're going to look at the table of content and say, man, this is an area in which I really need to work, and you're going to go straight there, you're able to read that one chapter, that one section, and take something from it and apply it. It can be read in a linear way, but it's not written that way. It's written modularly. So you take the piece you need and work on it, or you just go and you try to build the entire infrastructure piece by piece. I'm excited about that. Another thing is, after consideration, I've decided to leave the price of the book for now at the intro price, which is significantly lower than what the retail price after release was going to be. And I just thought about it, and I think that it's at a place where anybody who is serious about doing something to change their lives can actually go get it and do it. And the thing is, I'll tell anybody, from the people who are talking about whether or not they're going to buy the book, whether or not they're going to sit down and actually contract me to work with them, the bottom line is you have to be willing to invest in yourself at some level. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, number one, first and foremost, with the time it takes to learn something new, to take on new ideas, to find the solutions to the puzzles and challenges that are in your life, those things that you consistently look at and call problems. They have solutions, but you've got to go out and find them. You've got to be consistently committed to it and not so easily deterred, not so easily pushed back. And that requires an investment. That requires an investment and a commitment. And if you're not willing to do that, you just simply are not going to experience success on a consistent level. You're not going to really get to that point. So again, like I said, I'm really excited about this book. It was up to 700 plus pages, and I'm like, nobody's going to pick this book up. Definitely nobody's going to read it, 700 pages. So we scaled back to slightly under 400 pages, and we're going to have to push the other into following volumes, which I'm excited about. Like I said it the other day, man, this is book number 20, and I've already got another 20 in my head. So I'm excited about that. But let's talk about why I'm here today. Today's segment of 5 Minutes of Fire, capturing the moment. A part of being me, a part of doing what I do, is consistently engaging new ideas, consistently challenging myself to be better at what I do, consistently challenging myself to learn more, to grow more, so that I can be more effective in what I do. And so I'm always looking for ways to better myself. And one of the things that I have become highly aware of, definitely the level of cognizance when it comes to this, is like off the scale right now. That is we tend to uh, compartmentalize, categorize, whatever you want to talk about wealth. And everybody starts off the wealth conversation when it comes to money. First thing I tell you is wealth is a holistic reality. It doesn't just start with what's in your bank account. Matter of fact, that should be the back end. While some people arrive at it first because they are driven by money, they'll find quickly, as I did, that if you don't have holistic health, first and foremost, in the area of identity and knowing who you are and being sure of who you are and sure of yourself, being acquainted with your purpose, but then in the totality of your existence, mentally, emotionally, uh, physically, and spiritually. That's where health really begins. It begins in your thoughts, how you see things, how you perceive things. And then it turns into this one big question: how are you experiencing life? See, that determines whether you're wealthy or not. Because, see, I've seen people with a bunch of money that were miserable, that were sad. Some even committed suicide. And then I've seen people who barely make ends meet that have this unbelievable passion and joy they live with, and ultimately they overcome their financial issues because of how they experience life. But it's in how you experience life. And if when I talk to people and they're constantly saying it's just not, I can't, this is wrong, that's wrong, it's because you're not experiencing grace. What do I mean by that? See, most people, matter of fact, not just a lot, most people live life through expectations above appreciation. There's nothing wrong with setting expectations. There's nothing wrong with setting intent. There's nothing wrong with having a set parameter or a set standard of what you want out of life. But if you're living your life based on expectations, you're going to find a lot of frustration, a lot of disappointment. Why? Because there's absolutely no situation you're going to find yourself in where whatever you're engaging can meet your expectations all the time, not even you. If you've got expectations on your children, you're going to have times you're disappointed and frustrated. If you have expectations on your spouse, you're going to have times you're disappointed and frustrated. If you have expectations on your business and your employees, you're going to have times you're disappointed and frustrated. So if that's how you have your life set up based on being satisfied by the meeting of expectations, you're going to have a lot of frustration, a lot of disappointment, a lot of ebbs in your life where you're up and down. But if you base your life on appreciation, then you set your expectations, but they are behind the appreciation of what you already have, the things that you can look at and be appreciative about. That sets the standard and the foundation of gratitude. When you experience your life through gratitude, when you decide that I am going to find something, when I wake up in the morning, I set the state that I'm going to engage my entire day with, and that's a state of gratitude. So I wake up and I determine immediately, what do I have to be grateful about? What do I have that I can be grateful for? And there are certain things that every day that at the top of the list, and then there are other things that I can sit up and I can be focused on, that I can be grateful for. And then I move through the day. But there's something else I do. After setting my state, there's something else I do. What I do next is I commit to experiencing grace or finding moments in my day to appreciate. And I guarantee you, if you stop focusing on everything that's wrong, everything that's negative, everything you don't have, everything that people are doing to you, you start looking for those moments in which life is actually fulfilling, in which life has something to offer you. And then you take the time to appreciate that. You'll find that you'll start to feel more wealth mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And from that, you will develop the confidence and the platform or the foundation on which you build financial wealth, political wealth, social wealth, impact. But it starts with having an appreciation for the small things. See, when you don't have the capacity to appreciate the small things, you don't have the foundation on which to achieve the larger things that you feel you will be more appreciative of. And if you don't have the capacity to experience the small things, and you still get some larger things, you won't have the capacity to appreciate them. They will not bring you the happiness and the joy you keep thinking they will, because it requires the capacity for appreciation. And when you find that, you create an energy within yourself. That energy will resonate with other types of energy, and you will pull to yourself the things you like. You call it the law of attraction, you call it faith, you call it what you want to, but the universe responds to a type of energy. It responds to a type of activity. It responds to a demand put on it, not by screaming, not by wishing, not even by praying, but by establishing intent through appreciation instead of expectation. I'm telling you, this has been measured. This isn't some mystical charm or whatever you want to call it, which I actually engage in, but it's not that. It's simply understanding that when you set intent, when you set it from a place of gratitude and appreciation, it's a different energy level than when you set it from expectation, because the demands that come through expectation can't always be met. No person is perfect, so no person is going to meet the expectations you place on them all the time. If you own a business, you're going to have some times employees are going to drive you crazy. If you're married, you're going to have some times that your spouse drives you crazy. You have children, you're going to have times that sometimes your children drive you crazy. And to be totally honest, you're going to look at yourself on a regular basis and be unhappy with what you're doing because you can't meet the expectations you're placing on yourself 100% of the time. That's not where your peace, your joy, your power comes from. Your power comes from gratitude. Your power comes from the idea of saying, you know what, I'm going to be grateful for what I have. I'm not going to be content in it, but I'm going to be grateful for it because it could be worse. And then you go out and you do that. Now check this out. Some people say, man, I ain't got nothing to be thankful for. I ain't got nothing to be, my life just sucks. Well, let me tell you something. It's still in your control. It is still, if you want to experience, I think that everybody should make it their point to experience a minimum of 2 to 3 moments of grace during their day where they appreciate something, where they don't just sit up and say, man, I acknowledge it, but they allow themselves to experience it, to absorb it, to really enjoy it, and then being grateful for it. At least 2 or 3 moments. And if you don't have it in your day, if for whatever reason you think your life sucks that much, you're still in control, so there's still no excuse. Well, how am I in control, Doc? How am I in control, Rick? Let me explain to you how. You can create moments of grace. Matter of fact, you have the power to create the most powerful moments of grace. Well, how do I do that? What's the most power? There is scientific evidence. Again, we're not talking about some old philosophy that show the greatest form of appreciation, the greatest form of experiencing joy in ways that can be expressed and described is when you give to someone else. I mean, something, and it doesn't have to be in large amounts. I mean, they've done this study. It's something as small as a cup of coffee. There's a different experience when you buy coffee for yourself, when you buy coffee for a friend, and when you buy coffee for a stranger. We're buying coffee for a stranger, something as simple as spending a couple of bucks on someone else, produces a higher level of energy. Serotonin and dopamine are released at higher levels. You sit up and you feel better about yourself at a higher level than when you accomplish or do those things for yourself. So go out and find somebody that needs something you are capable of giving. It may be nothing more than, hey man, how are you doing? I believe in you. Hey man, how you doing? Don't hold your head down. It's going to get better. Speaking into somebody's life in a time when they need to hear something positive. That's creating a grace moment that you can experience for yourself. You are never in a position where you're hopeless. You're never in a position where you don't have power. But what we have been conditioned and trained to do is to sit up and experience life through suffering. We identify it, we look at it, we talk about it constantly. We bury ourselves in it. And it doesn't mean that not sitting up doing that, but focusing on appreciation makes it go away, but it gives it a new perspective. It makes it smaller. It makes it manageable. It makes it be what it is, just one part of my totality. It's not everything in my life. I have something for which I can be grateful for all the time. So make it a point to experience grace at least 2 or 3 times a day. That moment in your life where you look up and say, man, this is awesome. Maybe for me, it's, something as simple as my wife walking by. Because I could not have my wife, or my wife could be a tyrant, or a source of just constant pain and conflict. So that being in a situation where I can wake up every day and come down and put in work on something I'm passionate about, no matter how challenging it is, no matter how many bumps along the way I experience, I'm living in my moment every moment of the day. That's something to be grateful for. I have people who look to me and ask me to speak into their lives, to show them something. That's somebody that trusting me with their most precious asset, their life. And I think that's something to be grateful for. So there's always something out there to be grateful for. In that grateful moment, I'm experiencing wealth that goes far beyond what's in the bank account. And the energy that is created will expand the capacity to expand the bank account. A lot of what you're doing is repetitive expression of something you don't want. And the more you repeat it, the more expanded it becomes, the more impacted, the more emphasized, the more magnified it becomes. I don't like this. I'm this. I'm going through this. I'm doing this. You don't realize every time you mention it, you expand it. You make it bigger. You make it heavier. Make it stronger. You give it more power, more influence over your life. Know that it's there, but move towards what you want instead of focusing on what you don't want. Talk about it, speak about it, live about it, go after it, celebrate every little bitty progress. People sitting up saying, you just reaching right now. Well, that's okay. I'm reaching for something good. And that's reaching. That ain't a whole lot to celebrate, but I'm reaching for something good. I'd rather be reaching for this small little good thing than be over here so soaked up in misery behind this thing I don't want to deal with. I'm going to climb my way out of this mess inch by inch if I have to. But what I will not do is allow myself to wallow in this mess and enter into a time of suffering when I can fight my way out and actually be celebratory about the fight. Why? Because I'm climbing out of it. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to find at least 2 or 3 moments during your day that you can say, I'm experiencing grace. I don't care what your faith system is, but there's some grace in your faith system. I don't care what it is. It's the experiencing of redemption. It's the experiencing of the idea that I'm not stuck where I'm at. It's the experiencing of the idea that there's something beyond the moment and that I have access to it, and that I have something in my life right now that I can be grateful for. You better find those moments in your day. And like I said, if you can't find them, create them. Find somebody to bless, and you will experience the grace moment at the highest level. Look, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by, but you got to be willing to experience grace in your life. Not beg for it, not plead for it, not hope for it, but choose to experience it because it's in your life every day. I don't care where you're at, what you're going through. It's there. But you've blinded yourself to it because you're focusing on what's wrong. Immerse yourself in grace. First of all, give yourself grace. Forgive yourself. Give yourself room to be wrong sometime. Give yourself room to be fallible. Give yourself room to be behind pace. Give yourself room to say, this is not where I want to be, but I thank God I'm not where I used to be, and keep pushing. Stop beating yourself up so bad that it makes it easy for everybody else to come along and kick you. Hold your head up, square your shoulders, look ahead of you and say, I'm not there yet, but I'm not stopping. I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. I'm not turning around. I'm not relenting. No surrender, no retreat. I'm going to push through until I get there. I don't care how long it takes. I am not going to rest until I have everything I want. Put appreciation above expectation and watch how things change in your life. Capture the moment. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. But as I always say, I'm going to live my life on full so that I die on E. I challenge you to do the same thing. If you just make that one commitment, I'm going to live my life on full. I'm gonna take advantage of the 86,400 seconds that there are in a day, and I'm going to live my life on full, and I'm going to die on E. Just make that commitment and watch what starts to happen in your life. With that being said, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable moment. The link is there. You want to get the book. Distribution of the book starts, and it will be spread out over the next 6 weeks. It'll be on Amazon, at Barnes and Noble, Sony Books and Music, and a number of other places over the next several weeks. But you can order the book now directly from the link in the page, and we'll get that book out, signed copy. You guys have an unbelievable day. See you soon. I'm out. Peace.